You're listening to the Smart Nonprofit Masterclass. I'm Jose Gomez, founder and CEO of nonprofitwebsites.com and Net Ministry. If you're a leader or founder of a nonprofit who wants to reach more donors, volunteers, members, supporters, and the community that you're serving using the power of the internet, then I'm waiting for you in today's episode. So let's get growing. Hello, nonprofit leaders and founders. I am excited about today. We're going to be in part 2 of how to generate traffic to your website using your organization's presentation, elements of your presentation according to the Nonprofit Unifying Framework. And if you guys, just a quick summary, if you are just catching up with us here, the Nonprofit Unifying Framework consists of three main parts. And this is a way to present your nonprofit to the world. So you've got the problem or issue that your organization is addressing, the prescription, the programs and things that you are putting forward and suggesting will help to resolve or address those problems, and then the participation, how people get involved in any of your entry points. So these are the front door elements of your nonprofit. So today, we're going to talk about that middle piece. In the last podcast episode, we talked about how to use the problems and issues that you're addressing to generate website traffic. Today, we're going to talk about how to use your prescription to do the same thing. Now, this is the part where I have a lot of issues with the way nonprofits are presenting themselves. A lot of times the programs and the things that they're doing, number one, aren't very clear. There isn't really a clear recipe that they're following. But many times, even when I do see the recipe, I don't really quite understand how it in any way impacts the issues that they're talking about addressing. So you want to make sure you get some good clarity around that. And the reason is going to become very clear as we go through this, because without a good prescription, without a solid recipe for resolving, for addressing, for solving the issues or problems that you're looking at as a nonprofit, you're not going to be able to do much of what we're talking about today. So it's very important for you to figure that out. If I'm trying to address homelessness, then I want to create a comprehensive plan on how to do that, and that makes sense within the scope of my nonprofit, our budget, our objectives, the people we have involved. So it's very important to get clarity on that. Now, once you have clarity, let's talk about what we can do to use that to generate website traffic. So the first thing we want to talk about is, providing that compelling information about your prescription through success stories and case studies. Now, again, one of the things that you need to do is make sure that you have got a clear thing that you're doing, a clear prescription, because that is going to help you to mount together those success stories and case studies. And sometimes, you've got to go out and do some of the work before you can have these, because you can't have a case study, you can't have a success story without a case and without a success. So you want to gather those together. If you're a brand new nonprofit, and you're going to want to go out and get some of these, do some of the work that you're doing with as little resources as you can get away with, and create these stories, create these case studies, show the proof. And this is what this is all about. Showing case studies and success stories is all about showing proof that what you're prescribing works. Now, sometimes you don't have to necessarily, you don't have to have already done the work to show that there is success, that there are cases that have been addressed in a specific way. Maybe those are cases that aren't even yours. Now, I'm not suggesting that you make up or pretend that something someone else did is your success, but it's okay to reference that information, that someone else has had that success, that a specific nonprofit tried this approach and it worked. But showing the narratives, showing the stories behind what you're proposing to the world is super important. And this goes to the next step of, visual testimonies, showing people, again, show and tell, showing them, letting them see the impact that's being created. So once you start actually doing what your nonprofit is telling you, is saying that it's going to do for the world, you want to make sure you document those things so that you can offer them up as visuals and testimonials and narratives and case studies and success stories. You want to make sure you're always grabbing any evidence that you have that what you're doing works and compiling that together as content. And as you do that, you're able to use that as powerful traffic, website traffic content, powerful ways of driving people to learn more about your organization. Success stories and case studies, absolutely critical to this process, especially ongoing. And again, if you're a brand new nonprofit, you may not have any of this. So what you'll want to do is document, talk to, interview. There's so many ways that you can create content out of someone else's story or someone else's success while still attributing it to them, but still relating it to why you really feel this justifies or it helps provide the evidence that your prescription will work. All right. So mount some of that. Pretend that you're going into court and you have to prove that your nonprofit's approach is the best approach to take given your direction and your vision. Pretend that you've got to mount that evidence. You need a folder of proof. That folder of proof becomes the content that you can use to generate traffic to your website. Now in this next section here about creating a detailed program description, this is where I go back to this whole foundational issue of being clear, being detailed about what it is that your nonprofit does. Now, in many cases, and for most nonprofits, the way that they structure what they do is in the structure of programs in the form of a list of programs that they offer. Maybe it's their educational programs, maybe their events, maybe their activities. But the programs are essentially a way for you to break down the different things, the different initiatives within your organization that approach your prescription, that put it to practice. All right. And when you're describing what you do, whether it's in the form of programs or a 3-step plan or 5 initiatives, whatever you do, you want to make sure that you're always using simple language. You want to avoid using any jargon. You want to make sure that you're accessing as broad of an audience as possible. You want to use the goals, the methods. You want to talk about the expected outcomes of your program so that you can give people a comprehensive overview of what your prescribed remedies will do for the issue. Now, we want to talk also about interactive content, being able to, along with the text, along with describing what you do, creating interactive content like maps or timelines or infographics. All those things will help to illustrate the thing that you're trying to explain. Now, I want to say something at this juncture because a lot of times folks will get a little carried away. They'll create all these visuals and then, they have a one sentence explanation thinking that, I've heard, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but in many cases, it really isn't. It only makes sense to you without explanation from you. So always start with your content, with your written content, with your written explanation, and then create, find, compile the visuals that will help to explain what you're already explaining in the text. And that ensures a number of things. Number one, people have something to read and to understand and to learn. The visuals come alongside that to help, but also you're going to get some search engine optimization points for that as well. So creating of interactive content is great, but again, you got to first create that clear and concise list, that clear and concise presentation. You have to be able to iterate what you do and break it apart into pieces to say these are our 3 programs, and these 3 programs, these 5 steps, these whatever you want to call them, they compiled together create our prescription. All right. These are the remedies. These are the pills we're going to take in order to get through this disease. All right. So this is what you want to be able to create on your website. That's going to help you to generate traffic because it's going to be something you can share, something that could be munched up by the search engines and spidered so that you can get some traffic based on what you do, based on your approach. And again, once people get there, it's going to give them the clarity they need to know how to take the next steps or whether to give or whether to even be interested in your nonprofit to begin with. The other opportunity you have in terms of your prescription is to provide regular updates and reports about your progress. So, proof, progress, a lot of P's going on here, but the part of the prescription here is providing this evidence. I mean, you wouldn't want to take a medicine that other people haven't taken and taken successfully, right? You wouldn't want your doctor to prescribe something to you that no one else has tried before. You're the very first one. No, you want to be able to see that there's evidence, there's some sort of trials, there's some sort of proof that this thing works, and providing regular updates about what's going on with your organization through reports and newsletters. It helps to build trust, and it demonstrates that you feel accountable to your community, the community that you serve, the world at large. You want to share updates on ongoing projects, on upcoming events, and any new initiatives you have going on. You want to be transparent about your activities and your financials, and that helps to assure that it assures supporters that the contributions are being used effectively, that the resources are being used effectively, that you're actually taking the approach that you're saying that you're taking. You also want to use impact metrics. You want to share quantifiable data and metrics on the impact of your nonprofit's work. It's going to reinforce the effectiveness of that prescription. You want to use stats, you want to use graphs and charts to represent the achievements and your milestones along the way. For instance, you can show the number of people helped or fundraised or resources that were distributed. All these are tangible proof of success. They give people numbers or something they can put their hands on. They can see that your approach is working and that it's actually providing the impact and the change that you are claiming that it does or that it will. Okay, now again, if you're a brand new nonprofit, you may not have a lot of metrics. You may not have a lot of things to be transparent about because you're just brand new. But again, look around you and find that evidence, find the metrics, find whether people that are doing something similar have done, what success they've had, and feel free in the beginning to really use that as the launch point, saying this is what they're doing and this is our approach and how it's different or how it's similar, and this is why we think it's going to work, and this is what type of evidence, what type of metrics we can expect to see. And I think again, this is where a lot of nonprofits, especially new ones, they just get it wrong. They start out and they really just talk about their own experience, the things that they've done. Because a lot of us, we've started nonprofits because of our own experience. We've started our own nonprofits because we were involved in something, or we experienced something, or a family member experienced something, and we're starting it from the lens of our own view, our own opinions. And so quantifiable data provides us with an opportunity to show that it's not just us. It's not just in our head. This isn't just a pretend problem, and this solution isn't just something that I just dreamed up. There's actual information, there's actual data that shows that it works. And so if you're just getting started, find that data. If you are on your way and you're actually doing the things that your nonprofit says that it's going to do, compile that data. Don't let any success go by without you documenting it and creating some sort of a way to share the metrics of what's happening. And again, these updates, this continual flow of information is really what people are interested in. They're not interested in you sharing pictures from your last banquet. That only the people at the banquet care about that. I mean, to be as blunt as I can, guys, there's times where I see nonprofits sharing information that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any difference. They're interested in it. Maybe some of the people that are involved in the nonprofit are interested in it, but nobody in the world cares. They want to see what you're doing, and this will create momentum for you. If you're constantly showing results, if you're constantly posting new stories about what your nonprofit's doing, it shows momentum. And I don't know about you, but when I give to a charity, when I give to a nonprofit, I want to give to that momentum. I want to know that things are being done and things actually are being accomplished, and that I'm a part of that success. Success breeds success, and you're going to see that over and over again when you're creating presentation materials for your nonprofit. The next item I want to talk about is engaging content marketing. You want to you want to think about content itself, information, as a great way to not just populate your website and fill it with a bunch of stuff, but an opportunity to share. You want to the first form of this, the most obvious form of this that I want to talk about is blog posts and articles. It's like creating a diary on your website, about what's happening, about what you're thinking about what the latest issue is. And again, keep it related to your prescription, keep it related to the approach that you're taking. It should be either about the results of the approach, it should be a story about the approach itself, or it should be stories and maybe current events that just provide more evidence that your approach is the one to take. So you want to keep it focused, and if you can keep it focused, you can create this wonderful opportunity for people to be educated, for people to be engaged, for people to really get passionate about what you're doing. All right, you want to provide those regular blog posts about the work, about industry trends, related topics, and that can all drive organic traffic to your website. You want to provide valuable insights, share expert opinions, offer practical advice. You want to establish your nonprofit as a thought leader in the field. And this is how you do it, guys. Create that original content that's going to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. You listen, we were right all along. This is the approach to take. That's the argument you want to build. Integrating social media is the next step here. So making sure that your social media is reflecting all of this. And I was talking to somebody this week, they were having some trouble keeping up with social media for their organization, but they were doing it on some basis, but their website was severely outdated. And so, the solution I always give to folks is, think about taking a updating your website first approach, which is take the information that you want to post, create some good content for your website, and then share it on social media. Use social media as a distribution for your content, not the place where you author it. Otherwise, you're just building the social media network, not your own platform. And remember that when you lead people back to your website, you control that presentation. You don't control the presentation on Facebook, Instagram, on wherever else you are, TikTok, Rumble, wherever you're posting to. You don't control that presentation, and you don't even control the availability of that presentation. You don't even know that tomorrow your content will still be there. They may still be there, but as many people have found, your account is not secured. So you don't know for sure that tomorrow somebody won't kick you off of a platform, or some error might happen, or somebody might hack your account. So you control your presentation on your website. You're going to always update that first. Create sections of your website that relate to your social media outreach, and then use that the right way. Leverage social media platforms so you can share your data and drive traffic to your website. You want to use compelling visuals, engaging captions, relevant hashtags to increase the reach and engagement of your message. And you want to encourage followers to visit your website for more information, sign up for your newsletters, or donate. I mean, you get, again, you control that presentation. There's a reason why you're bringing people in, and you want to make sure that you are leveraging that. So very important as you integrate social media to always know that social media is your distribution point. Community engagement is our next section. So let's talk a little bit about that. How do we engage our community? Well, you can create online forums, you can do webinars. You want to create a place for discussion. You want to create a place for introspection. You want to host online forums, online discussions, create webinars to engage with your audience directly. These platforms are going to allow for real-time interaction, where you can answer questions, you can provide updates, you can discuss relevant issues, you can promote your events throughout your website, through social media, you can attract new visitors and foster that sense of community that you want to create around your issue. There's a real power in that idea of community. These are the people that not only that we're serving, but these are the people that are interested in serving and interested in our approach and interested in our success. Volunteer and donor spotlights are another thing that you can do, highlighting the contributions of volunteers and donors that can build a sense of appreciation, and it can motivate other people to get involved and motivate your current donors and volunteers to be more involved. You want to feature stories or interviews with those key supporters to showcase their impact and encourage other people to support your cause. So those are really important. Again, it's all about providing proof. Hey guys, this is working. People are excited. People are successful. The problems are being addressed. Let's talk a little bit about search engine optimization, because through all of this, all these approaches, whether it's addressing the problems of prescription or the items of participation, you are looking to optimize your website to be found. And so search engines are the organic way to do that. They're the kind of in your sleep, crawling through your website and trying to figure out whether your website is authoritative, whether it truly addresses the question or problem that people are having. And so the challenge here is, as you're talking about your prescription, as you're posting your stories and you're posting your case studies, and you want to be aware of the phrases and themes that people are searching for that are looking for you. So you don't just want to think about showing up at the top of a phrase, but you want to be thinking about what phrases specifically do you want people to find you under when they what are they looking for when they find you? People just stumbling on you on the internet is not necessarily good traffic. What you want to do is you want to be found at the time that they're searching for something that relates to what you do. And so using whichever type of content you choose to use, always be aware. Conduct through thorough keyword research to understand what potential supporters are looking for online, and use these keywords strategically in your content to improve your website's visibility on the search engines. It's really important that you understand what people are searching for. You also want to optimize your website's on-page elements like your titles, your meta descriptions, your headers, the images, and additionally engage in off SEO activities like backlinking from reputable sites. You want to make sure people are linking back to your site that are reputable, guys, not just any old site. You don't just want to post your link everywhere, but you want to be found with content and subject matter that is similar and that maybe is higher traffic. These are great examples of this are websites where you're posting press releases or being featured, having your article featured in a magazine or in a newspaper website and having them link back to your site. You want to also do guest blogging. Be on other people's blog, and if you start a blog, have other people on yours. That's a great source of traffic. What you'll see is that when you have guests, not only will you have your traffic, but they'll send people because they have their own audience as well. So always think about that, and participating in online discussions. So you want to improve that search engine ranking by showing that you are a reputable, a reliable source of information, and there's a lot of places online where you can do that. So today was just really all about utilizing, again, that second P, that prescription part of the nonprofit unifying framework to drive traffic. Because driving traffic to your nonprofit website, it does require kind of multifaceted approach. But by providing compelling information about your prescription through success stories and detailed program descriptions and regular updates, engaging content marketing, community engagement, and SEO strategies, you can attain and retain your visitors. Building a strong online presence, it doesn't only increase awareness, but it also fosters trust and support for your cause, and it ultimately helps you to achieve your nonprofit's mission. So I encourage you to implement these strategies. They're going to enhance your nonprofit's visibility and impact, and you're going to see that it will grow a wonderful community around your cause. So I hope this podcast has been helpful, guys. Know that you can always reach out to us and for help. We've got wonderful programs like our new Grow program. We've got a bunch of growth strategies that we can help you with, and of course our core services of building and maintaining your web presence, whether it's your website all the way through to email and social marketing and all the strategies that we create to help you increase your donors, subscribers, your volunteers, your supporters, and community engagement all around the world. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Smart Nonprofit Masterclass. I hope that it challenged you in some way and provided you with the tools to effectively communicate your nonprofit's initiatives to the communities you serve. Now, I'd love to get more involved with your nonprofit and help you to increase donors, supporters, and community presence. My team's been doing it for over 2 decades. In fact, we're usually the team nonprofits call on when all the other agencies, service providers, and volunteers fail to provide the results that they're looking for. Sadly, it's usually after they spend way too much money figuring that out. Don't wait that long. We're looking for more nonprofits just like yours to serve and help grow. But we'll never have the chance to do that unless you reach out. So I'd like to point you to a free webinar that doesn't require any sort of email sign up. If you feel that we can help you after watching it, then book a call with me directly and we'll go over the ways we can best help you. Go now to nonprofitwebsites.com/apply. And I'll see you on the other side. Have a great day.